Hello, my name's Lori Lamonto. I'm a licensed professional counselor and I'm a licensed clinical drug and alcohol counselor. This channel is called Courage to Change. Um, I'm going to just give a little bit of my own background. It's not going to be too extensive or too detailed, but I am going to share just somewhere where this Courage to Change came from and how I decided to want to help others. Okay, so the first thing would be things you wouldn't know about me, but I'll just share. I once was a drug addict. I have 23 years recovery. Um, I live the typical drug life. So if you're an addict and you understand addiction, then you know what that means. Broad living, expensive spending, okay, mostly on drugs, seeing a lot of death, seeing a lot of people make very bad decisions, seeing myself make very bad decisions. I had a son and I would, bring my son around. So my son was introduced to a lot of different awful things, the bars, the dealers, the lifestyle. By the time he was 6, however, I got myself in recovery. Thank God. He still remembers those days, which he's 30 now, but he does still remember some of the lifestyle that I was living at that time. But long story short, when I decided to make a change in my life, I literally had to pick myself up from where I was and move myself completely to another location. Now we take ourselves wherever we go. So you could move yourself to another location and just take yourself anyway and find another way to get actively involved in drugs. That's not what happened to me. I went into a women's facility, a rehab ministry, church-related, faith-based kind of organization. Pastor David Wilkerson had like Teen Challenges. This was one of his kind of organizations. Okay. Long story short, I remember the time when I sat there and I felt like being in recovery was just terrible. And I remember the scripture, and many who are biblically based or people who know the Lord might know the scripture, be still and know that I am God. So this was spoken to me and it was used for me in many times of my recovery, but be still for me at that moment meant to just stay where I was. Don't make any move. Because both sucked. Being in recovery sucked and being an addict sucked. Both sucked. I was like in a suck situation. There didn't seem to be any win. I hated being an addict, my addiction life and the way I lived and the people I was surrounded by and what I witnessed and the partaking of things I did sucked. And my highs weren't good anymore either. They sucked. But I hated recovery. It was so hard. It was so hard to stay in recovery and get a new perspective and a belief system towards life. Okay. But what ended up happening, so yeah, we know this biblical verse, be still and know that I'm God. But what really happened for me was I got this relationship with the Lord. And I'll remember I was probably less than a year in recovery, maybe a little over a year, about a year. Okay. And I did like this twirl around up on a mountain at this faith-based facility that I sort of was like the Sound of Music's lady, where I just did this twirl around. And all of a sudden, I really had eyes to see. I finally had eyes to see the beauty of the sky, the beauty of the trees, the grass, the beauty of life. It was suddenly like a year into my recovery, my eyes got opened and I was able to see life at a place of freedom. I wasn't in these bondages anymore. I wasn't shackled to drugs. I wasn't tormented or disrupted in my life. I literally was able to see the beauty of life. Spirituality became super, super important. My faith became super important. My walk with God became important. I don't know how I would have made my recovery happen for me specifically without my connection with God. Everyone doesn't need that. So this channel's not going to be always about faith or about spirituality. It will be included, but it's not going to be the topic. But that's my story. Okay. But the main thing, I guess, today is if you are someone in recovery and you feel like this is just suck and suck, I'm at a lose-lose. I hate being high on drugs and I hate being sober. I hate feeling my feelings. I hate actually being stuck with, denying myself and sacrificing myself, the escape that I'm used to. I'm going to encourage you to be still. Be still In the end, you're going to win. It takes time. You'll get to the other side. It takes courage, the courage to change. Okay? The courage to change, and take that bravery and that courage to change. You will see life differently. Give yourself that chance. Give yourself that chance to all of a sudden and finally have the eyes to see that life can be good and that your eyes can be open to something new. So I feel not only am I a licensed clinical drug and alcohol, and I understand clinically the brain and the body and the life experiences people might fall into that cause them to do these things, I also understand the struggle with recovery. It might feel painful physically in a detox or physically in a mental state, but you will get through it. Be still and know that He is God. Be still and know that you'll have eyes to see. Take that courage to change. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Thank you.